Hello and welcome to the Drug Lifecycle Minute. I'm your host, Philip Day. We have a special guest today. It's Mr. Praveen Singhalla. He is the Executive Vice President for Strategy and Consulting with Drug Lifecycle DLTA. Hello, Praveen.
Hey, Philip. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you for joining us today. Our topic is this.
Pleasure.
It's great to have you. Our topic is this. How do large companies do complex projects? And really the first question to come from that is this. How is technology used to manage these large projects?
So, Philip, that's a great question. So, on an average, if you take data, historical data, for example, on an average, every large project runs 45% over budget and about 7% over time. And the reasons behind this is because of the lack of discipline in being able to manage a complex project or a program for that matter. And if we understand why this happens, it's basically because of three fundamental blocks. The first block is being able to understand what kind of resources you have. And when it's a large program, you're talking about distributed resources across the entire organization coming from different business units. Second aspect is the financial data, not knowing how to capitalize on what you have and being able to baseline how much you've spent versus how much you got left. The last thing is obviously the time, which is more important than anything else, is are you doing well on time? Are you ahead of schedule or behind schedule? So fundamentally, the larger the program, the more complex it is. And that's where technology comes into the picture of being able to bridge these three facets of a larger program to improve efficiency and effectiveness overall. And that's why technology is important when it comes to solving larger programs.
Boy, technology, you got that right. And you look at the software has to be precise in helping you do these projects. So how can the project management software help with these projects?
So a software is nothing but an aspect of a solution that actually addresses a given problem. Now, if you're trying to use any software off the market to solve managing a program, it doesn't meet the needs of actually running a program. And that's why having a project management software that is built on the core principles of the three areas that I talked about in terms of managing your resources, managing your finances, and being able to track your time more efficiently and effectively is the key. And the market is saturated with a lot of project management products, but the most important thing for everyone who is looking to find a product is to understand what their business problem is, how their business problem can be capitalized by having an appropriate project management solution that takes into consideration their business domain knowledge. And thus, that would be a greater fit rather than having more generic project management software.
Well, there has to be, in some ways, it can be very costly. Now, how much would something like this run on the marketplace? The cost of it.
It's a good question, Philip.
Yeah.
What we have to understand is every software solution is subjective to the complexity and the background of a different organization.
Sure.
So, but from a product standpoint, the questions that I would recommend the audience to kind of ask themselves is, does the solution actually address their business needs? Is the solution scalable if they start small and want to grow big? And based on factors like that, it will help consolidate the cost overall. So the cost could be, every product is different. So I would highly recommend focusing on the attributes of what a product should do rather than using cost as a baseline, because that could definitely jeopardize getting the right solution, which could end up costing the organization a lot instead of having to go back and start a new solution. So
yeah, exactly. You've got to look at the quality of the project management program. Cost should not always be the number one factor. And understandably, it's a factor. But yeah, then you'd have to go back and do the whole thing again. That would defeat the purpose.
Twice.
Yes, exactly. Praveen, you have been very helpful today. Appreciate your time. And thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity, Philip.
It was a pleasure. And I want to thank you for joining us at the Drug Lifecycle Minute. You can find out more about us at www.druglifecycle.com. like our Facebook page, I'll say it correctly, and follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn. Take control with DLTA and have a healthy day.